So, hi, I'm Nitisha, and right now this would be my, I would say, fourth attempt of teaching you guys for CB2. And we have received greater than 90% passing percentages at our academy for CB2. That is 9 people out of 10 passing out every time for CB2, and that too with good scores. And the people who do not pass, I would say it is usually because they did not stick to the schedule that was provided to them or else they took CB2 lightly. And it's also possible there was some, I would say, deficiency in your preparation and you could lose out by 1 2 marks, right? So let's ensure that we don't do that and we stay in the 90%. For that, you have to work with me, follow the targets and the schedule given to you. Okay, you do that, and there is nothing stopping you from clearing CB2. CB2 is one of your easier papers when you look at it in comparison to CS1, CM1, or CS2, CM2. Those are your harder ones. Over here, it will be a lot more theoretical compared to the usual mathematical part you are used to. You would hardly have any formula. I would say only one or two in the entire portion. So it's as good as a theory paper rather than a mathematical paper. Now, when we talk about CB2, what exactly is CB2? Let's discuss on that. So CB2 is nothing but your second paper for core business. It is about your business economics. When we talk about economics, it means what is happening right now in our, I would say, country or the world. Right? You all would have heard about budget by now. I believe you guys would look at the news, you would see about it every February sometime. At least in India, we see the budget. Every country has their own at their time. But what are the impacts of it in your daily life as well as, I would say, in your professional life? How does it affect you as a person? What is demand? What is supply? How are they affected? What all factors would affect them? So this part is also a key part of a business. If you're in any, I would say, if you take a job in any part in any company, if you are in, I would say, search of designing of the product, then how will you sell it? Who is going to be your target customers? What would be the pricing done for it? So that is all requiring theoretical background, which is covered in your economics part, which is your CB2 part. It is a very important subject from your professional point of view. It is something you need to know. Considering a good proportion of you were in your 12th, right? So right now you had economics in your 12th exam if you are from Maharashtra SSC, HSC board, that is, and other also. So economics, you guys would know the basics, but we are going in depth over here. We would be studying schools of thoughts. What would they believe? We have monetarists, we would have classical theory, everything. But end of the day, if we break it down, it is going to be easy to do it. As the quote written over here, nothing is particularly hard if it is broken down. So if we break it down, if we study it in order, if we follow the schedule rigorously, you write the tests when they're given to you and there is nothing stopping you from it. Okay. When we look over here, and you cannot say that you joined actuaries only for the mathematical part. You are good in practical but not in theory, because CB2 is a theoretical paper. Going ahead, if you have not given CB1, even that would go into your theoretical part. Then you have CP1, CP3, or SP series, SS series. All of that goes into theory side. So if you are not comfortable in theory, that is not an answer that you can give. Secondly, if you ask your friends, it's possible they might tell you, oh, CB2 is easy, it's just economics, you know the basics. No, that's not correct. Okay, you have to study for it. It's not a side paper that you're giving, it's a main paper, it's an important one. It is considered as a past paper once you do it, right? So you have to start from the beginning. You cannot say, oh, if I clear this attempt right now in July, when the results come, then I will start. Or I will book and then the 1 month that I have, I will complete it in 1 month. It's a small portion. No, that's not it. You cannot do that in 1 month. It needs to be a continuous study because we don't want a short term memory. We want a long term memory. You need to remember it till the day of exam. Okay. So talking about your mentors over here, I am Nitisha and with me would be Sunny Savla. If he could give his introduction right now. Okay.
Hi
So
everyone, can you hear me?
yeah, you're audible.
Okay, so hi everyone. So I just heard everyone's introduction, and I think for most of you, this would be your first theory paper. So yes, a quick short introduction about myself. I am Sunny Savla. I'm a qualified actuary and FRM, and I, along with Neeti, have been teaching CB2 for now 4 attempts. And prior to Neeti, I was teaching it for another 3 attempts. Yes. So this has been from 2022 onwards, and we have ensured that we bring a complete clarity and conceptual soundness in the entire subject. The notes are developed by myself and her, and we have constantly focused on updating it periodically. So I think, yeah, that's it. And I'll be the co-mentor during the entire CB2. You can reach out to Neeti as well. You can reach out to me as well for doubts, for your exam preparation, for your approaches, or anything that you need to know. So I'll be also there to support you. So yeah, that's a quick intro about myself. And yes, you can carry on, Neeti.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So going ahead. So what all would we be doing in CB2 first of all? So up till now, considering you guys have given one paper, when I talk about course notes, you guys are used to it, right? There's a lot of reading material. Then you have some summary and then you have practice questions, correct? But that is different for CB2. This does not happen in CB2. In CB2, the reading material in the course note is as good as negligible. First, I will show you guys so you can get an idea for it. So this is the CB2 course notes. If I say let's open a random chapter, what do we have? A very small intro which does not have any reading part as such. Then you look over here, they will just give you a guidance and a reading part, like you need to know all of this. There is no reading as such. There are only questions provided. There is no reading material from where you can learn, right? There is only questions, questions, and questions. Then you go down, you get your practice questions. That's it. There is no core reading material as such that you are given in the course. CD7 was the chapter, I would say, or the name of the paper before year 2019. I'm sure you guys know there was the CT series entirely. So we also provide you with CD7 notes. In that, there is reading material more compared to the CB2 course notes that are present right. But you don't need to worry anything about reading. You don't need to worry anything about revisions because we are providing you with your own curated study notes. They are PPTs that cover the entire chapter. Okay, so you would have recorded live lectures provided for all of the chapters. We would be having live lectures happening every week covering the chapters itself in them. So you don't have to worry that, oh, you have to only watch recorded. No, you have live lectures happening. You have any doubt, you can ask at that very moment. In the PPTs, okay, if you look over here, you can easily see that there are terms provided, the meanings are given for the same. Then if we go down over here, we also have graphs because CB2, we are talking economics, right? We definitely have graphs that form a very major part of it. Those are also present. So if you want a quick review of the entire chapter, you just need to go through the PPTs. They are present for every chapter and they will be provided to you once you are over here. Okay, just providing you a quick overview over here. Some chapters do have a lot more graphs than others, but yeah, they are very easy and they will be explained to you within the lecture. Okay. So if you look over here, all of the graphs, all of the curves, everything would be explained to you. What is happening? Everything. Don't worry about this. When this comes, you would be doing it. Then we have the John Sloman book. So what is that? So that is the reading part that the course notes reference in a few chapters and not in all. Even that will be showcased over here. So if you look at this is a 1,000-page book in which a lot is extra, something that is out of scope and out of portion for you. And no, we do not need to read everything. This has been combined and condensed into the PPTs over here that we are providing for every chapter. You don't need to worry about that. Once you go through the PPT, revise it and learning it, you are done for that chapter. So over here, how many chapters do we have when we look at it? There is a total of 23 chapters and we plan to finish by 20th August, that is mid-August. Your exam would be in September. So you will have 1 month to do past paper, revision, mock tests, everything. Okay. So when you look at this, don't be scared. Oh, 20, maybe we are completing chapter 1. No, that's not it. By then, we will be completing the lecture part, the video part. After that, you will have to do practice questions that are present in the course notes. That is the text back part. Then we have special curated assignments for every chapter. What do they have? They have specific questions relating to that chapter. Okay. Initially, I'm sure you guys know about booklets, right? Over here, we are not doing by booklets. The tests will be taken like that because all chapters are interlinked. When you talk about economics, everything connects to one another. Like if you look at chapter 3 and 5, supply and demand, then background to demand, then background to supply. So it's basically talking about demand and supply, but it goes into in depth as you go in next chapters, right? So over here, we will be going in a certain order to ensure that we are completing an entire chunk of concept when we do it. But once you are done with that entire part, okay, once you are done with demand and supply, then we would be having test on it. After that, you would also be required to do a revision for it. I would suggest doing it after about 10 days, 7 to 10 days. Why? Because by then, if you have forgotten something, you can revise it. And we all know 2 to 3 days our memory is sharp enough, and it's possible that you skip ahead and you don't revise it. Okay. So how are we supposed to look at this? We will be providing you with this progress tracker. So what exactly does it entail? Over here, you can see the chapter names. You can see the number of pages. So number of pages in the course notes. As I just told you, the course note has nothing. Just imagine what would be present in the 14 pages, 5 pages of reading, 2 pages of, I would say, questions. That's it. So don't go on the number of pages, I would say over here. Go on your PPT part and how hard was it for you. If you look at it, the average is somewhere around 3 to 4 days. Okay, some chapters spanning to 7 or 6 days also. So we can say, let's say 4 days as an average for all the chapters. So we can say almost every 2 weeks, we will be covering about 3 chapters. Correct. So 3 chapters is the target for every 2 weeks, and you have to ensure that you do not do a backlog. Why is that? For example, if you skip the lecture for chapter 5, okay, you did not attend the live lecture, you did not watch the recording. In the coming week, when we are doing background to supply, you won't be able to connect it. Okay, all the chapters are connected. So I would say do not go into a backlog. And if you do, try to cover it. Okay, even if you do not do the, I would say, assignments, that's still okay, but you have to do the video so that you know what the concept is about, because the concepts go forward, they are carried forward into the next chapters. All of them are like that. Over here, if you see supply side policy, demand side policy. Okay, don't worry. If you have any lag, any backlog, you can text me immediately at that point, and I would definitely guide you as to how you can cover it and ensure that you are back on track and with the class, and you can attend the live lecture and also understand what is happening. So if you look over here, this will be provided to you on the drive itself. Okay. So once we do a lecture, for example, we have a chapter 3 live lecture happening. So once we are done with that live lecture, you can just directly mark it as completed. Okay. Live lectures you attended, the entirety is covered, and you can complete this entire column for lectures. Then when we talk about practice questions, these are your text back one in the core notes, the course notes. Then what are the study notes? The study notes are nothing but the PPTs that we are providing you with. Okay. You have to ensure that you know it entirely. What you have to do, just copy from here and paste it over here if you are done with it once. Don't worry, over here also you have completed, ongoing, and not started if you want to select it. Okay. Then talking about assignments, they are present for every chapter. So once you are done with the chapter, done with the practice questions, and have read the PPT, you have to do that chapter's assignment. Then, when do you go to revision? I would say go in the next week. For example, you do chapter 3 this week, okay, the entire lecture study notes. Coming week, after you are done with chapter 4, go back to chapter 3 and revise it. Are you able to remember it? Are you able to connect it if there are any connections found? Then you can consider yourself to be revised and well versed in it. Then, when we talk about tests, the tests are not for every chapter because the chapters are not standalone. Your tests will be combined. Let's say chapter 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6. They all demand supply. So we keep a combined test. And then you can just mark this entirely as completed once you're done with it. Then you can also check your progress over here, how much is remaining, how much has been completed, how much is ongoing, and how much you have not started. Ensure that you fill this from your end after you are done with something. Okay. I would say once you're done studying, it only takes 1 or 2 minutes max to max while you open it, update it, and do a control save. That's it. And you are done with it. Our exam date for CB2 is 23rd September. When you look at it, that is just a few months away. And our target is to end this by August. Okay. And I am sure once we get the results, that's near your July part, which is nothing but I would say a chapter 11, 12, if you look at it over here. chapter 11 and 12, that's your in between the results area, if you look at it perfectly. So what is happening? Why have we arranged it or structured in this manner? Because if you look at it, your chapters 1 to 10 are about microeconomics and chapter 11 to 23 is about macroeconomics. Macro is something that is on a national level, world level. Micro is a smaller scale, correct? And once you're done with the results, when you receive it, you are very clear in your mind whether you have passed or not the previous paper, whether you're attempting two papers or only one right now. So it will provide you with a clear idea what's happening. And these chapters are nothing but introductory for your macro. So this will provide you with a light week during your exam results. If you feel that the results are not good or not promising for you, then you can take this week as a breather also. Why? Because this part is easier to complete, honestly. And right now, I have not heard a single person who is in 11th at this point or of a lower level. So this is something that is very basic parts of economics. It will talk about GDP, then what is the national income, everything. That is very basic. That is more like a brush up for you. So that won't be an issue either. Okay. When you go ahead, over here, it gets tricky. You are talking about theories, schools of thoughts, everything, policies, exchange rate, everything and anything that you have heard about in economics is present over here. If you look, micro takes only 9 chapters or maximum 10. 10th is like a transformational chapter from micro to macro. Then macro is a very huge chunk of your portion. So if you pass your examination, you are like, I want to do it, then you have to go with a full focus and full energy into this, and you will be able to complete your CB2. Now, talking about your exam pattern, CB2 is going to be very unconventional, something you have not written before in any of your paper. Let it be CS1, CM1, CB1. Okay. Over here, you will be having 26 MCQs. And each will be worth 1.5 marks. So what does this mean? It means that 39 marks are provided to you in MCQs, which is almost rounding up to 40. Okay, 40% weightage in MCQs. And how much time does it take to write even a single MCQ? Only one, I would say hardly 10 seconds for writing. You read the question, it takes you about, I would say 40 seconds, 10 seconds to type out. What do we have to type out? You only have to type out A, B, C, or D. That's the option letter. That's it, nothing else. You just require time to think about it. Think what is the answer, type it, that's it, you are done. So now normally, what is the weightage? You have a 3 hours, 20 minutes paper, which comes out to be 200 minutes in total. Now, I'm taking 40 marks, not 39 for easier calculation right now. So 40 marks are over here in MCQ. 40 marks mean how many minutes? 80 minutes. 80 minutes for 26 MCQs. If you look at it, it hardly takes 1 minute for an MCQ. If possible, 2 or 3 will be tricky or something that you don't remember. Okay. So it's possible those require a little bit more time. But when you think about it, 80 minutes is too much for them. So you do not require 2 minutes for every mark in this MCQ section. You can complete the MCQs in about, I would say, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, right? Instead of 80, you take 45, let's say 50 minutes. You still have half an hour extra. That half an hour goes for writing your other answers. Other answer consists of your 3 to 5 markers, that is short answers, and 2 10 marker. Even the 10 markers sometimes get split into 5 marks. The total would be like question 17A, 17B, and the both of them would be 5 marks. So total 10 marker for question 17. But again, if it's 5 markers split, that helps you out again more, right? So what is happening is you have a lot of time to write for your theory. It is not possible that you are not able to complete your paper if you practice the past papers, if you do your mocks, everything, every part of your CB2 should be written in the final paper. The only thing that you would miss is something that you did not study for because you don't know anything about it. So it's possible you are not able to type on that, but the rest of it is entirely easy to complete the paper. Not understanding is a very different thing than not completing because of lack of time. Time is not of the issue over here. You have to have a typing speed. Definitely. You cannot take 20 minutes for a 5 marker. That's not okay. Maximum is 10 minutes, in which you also have to structure your answer. You have to write it in proper pointer format. Everything explained. No double writing. Okay. Not putting double points and you thinking that it will be worth 2 marks. No. You have to do it. But over here, you won't have to worry about paper completion. Okay. And this would be unconventional even with respect to CB1. CB1 has 10 MCQs. Over here, you have 26. Okay. So if I just have to split, okay, your marks. Normally, CB2 passing is somewhere around 60 to 65. Let's consider 65. Okay. You get the easiest paper in your attempt and the passing goes to 65. Let's consider that. Now, in MCQs, if I say you go wrong for 6 of them, let it be because they were tricky, you misunderstood, you did not study for it. I'm considering 6 MCQs such. So you still get 20 are correct. So 21.5 markers, that means 30 marks. Out of 65 that you require for passing, 30 are already covered in MCQs. Next, theory questions. How much is left? I would say 40 marks goes for your short answers, that is 3 to 5 markers. Out of that 40 marks, let's say you are able to attempt another 25 marks. What is your score right now? 55. You have reached 55 already. You still have 10 markers. In those 10 markers right now, if you're getting 8 marks each, you get another 16 added to your 55, which comes out to 71. So that is the most easy passing I'm talking about. I have left out too many marks, right? You can even achieve them. It's possible you don't go 6 MCQs wrong. It's possible you don't get 25 out of 40 for short answer. You go for 30, 35, and you can cross this value. But you can only do it if you know the concepts, if you know everything, if you know all of the theories, if you know all of the graphs, the numericals, what do the diagrams mean, what would happen to demand and supply in all different case scenarios, what are the different policies that you apply. Okay. So if you know all of that, you can easily do this. But for this, reading is important, study is important, attending lectures is important. You cannot just go and say, oh, I will read the core material. There is no core material that you can read. If you try to read John Sloman, it's extra complex, it's extra knowledge, okay? Something that is out of bounds for you. You don't need to spend time doing that. Just do the PPTs and you will be clear for it. Now, what makes CB2 as a different paper, as I just told you? You will have case study based questions also coming in your short answers, okay? For example, they could tell you that right now, let's take the example of what happened, right, in the war scenario in the Middle East, right? So if the Hormuz passage is closed, what is happening? The oil is not coming out. Basically, it's not being supplied to the world. Demand is still the same. The public is panicking. They are demanding extra. They want to store. The supply is not increasing. What will happen to the price? What will happen to the quantity? What will happen to exchange rates? All types of such questions come over here. So you need to apply what you have studied. You need to understand the concepts in the core. Then you should also know the definitions. It's possible they can give you 1-2 marker to, I would say, explain it. They don't require word to word, I would say, definition, but they require a good explanation. And most of the concepts are easy enough to understand. Then, when we talk about MCQs, I am saying 26 are there, are they easy? Most of them, but the rest, they will be tricky, and it's possible that you believe every one of them to be tricky and you miss out on the easy ones also. You need to understand what is happening, what are they asking, what is the difference between the two options provided, which one would be more correct. Sometimes they just say which is the best point answer for such a scenario, right? So two of them would be applicable, but which is the best one, which will have the most effect? You need to understand it. You need to know what are the different diagrams. They could give you a diagram based question. They could tell you, identify what would be the price in such scenarios, identify what would be the price limits. So you need to understand. Lastly, all of this is time bound. 3 hours and 20 minutes, that's your roof. You have to ensure that you have typed out the entire paper. Up till now, it's possible you have, skipped writing 1 or 2 questions in your past, I would say, some sub question or something or other in your previous papers. I'm sure none of you attempted 100% because it's not possible. It's possible that the questions went harder for you. But over here, if you do not understand the theory, that is could be the only reason that you are not able to type because time is present. You just require a good enough speed, that is your normal speed, to ensure that you are able to complete it. Do not spend extra time on an MCQ. If you take up, let's say, 80 minutes or 90 minutes on MCQs, why? Because you believe, oh, 40 marks are there. It is possible these are easy marks. Why spend time for writing 10 marks? I can get easily over here. That's not possible because in MCQs, there is only right and wrong. If you miss out, okay, you directly get 0. You do not get 0.5 or 1 mark. While in 10 marker, if your point is not entirely correct, but partially correct, it's possible you get a partial marks for it, right? So you need to attempt everything. Your 0.5 also gets added up into your final marks, which helps you pass over. Now, how would we achieve for September attempt? Exam is on 23rd. We will be completing by August. We would have deadlines that would involve completion of your tests also. For example, we complete chapter 1 to 6, then we would organize a test in the next week. We complete chapter 7 to 10, we would organize a test in the next week. Then you would be provided with mock tests and definitely there will be regular doubt solving sessions. In the doubt solving sessions, you can ask about the assignments, I would say, textbook questions, anything and everything that you want. If there is a conceptual doubt, you're not understanding a graph, how would you draw it? What is the explanation of what is happening on it? Everything would be done in those. Okay, don't worry about it. Then, when we have the live lectures, okay, we would discuss the timing after this session is done. So, what would be covered in the live lectures? Your entire chapters will be done. So, you don't need to watch recorded for the live lectures. Okay, you would only have to watch recorded for the very easy ones, I would say, for which you do not need to attend a live one. Hardly a few chapters are there for those. Those you would watch and recorded. If you miss out the live is also recorded and uploaded. So you can either watch the live or the pre-recorded. If you want to revisit a chapter, everything is at your service. You can watch the live lecture again if you want. You can watch the recorded if you want. You have the PPTs to revise from. Everything is present. Most importantly, you would be provided with doubt solving even on your chats. You have to put a message, I would say, on the group is more advisable because I would be repeatedly checking the group rather than your personal messages. It's possible I slip on one or two of them, and it's possible do not see that your message came through. You put it on the group and I would reply back to you. You can ask the past students how good was the doubt solving that took place and whether they were solved or not, as and when they have this. So you could keep your doubts together till the doubt solving lecture, but if it's a small one, like, over here we would have a lot of MCQ practice, right? So it is possible that you mark a answer as A, the answer comes out to be B, and you're not understanding why it's happening. So you could just put it on the group and I will explain it to you. It would hardly be a 1 or 2 minute thing. So if you do not want to wait till the end of the, I would say, week when we have the lecture, then you could directly get it solved. Most importantly, after every live lecture that happens, I would be staying back for, I would say, 5 to 10 minutes minimum, even more if required. So if you have any doubts, we will be solving it every week. Definitely, we would have dedicated doubt solving lectures also where only doubts will be solved. No new concept would be learned over there. This would be our roadmap for our September attempt, that is on 23rd. Now, why should you be choosing us over here? We would have also offline lecture if required for a very hard chapter. We kept it for chapter 10 last time. If required, we can keep it even this time. You already have online live lectures definitely happening. Mumbai students could attend the offline one, but online would definitely happen side by side at the same time. Pre-recorded lectures are present for all of the chapters. Most importantly, I also have a recorded bonus lecture series for all the chapters. What does the bonus lecture exactly consists of? It consists of all of the questions that are present in your core course notes. Okay, the CB2 course notes. What all questions are there? All of these. For example, over here, this question is there. So exactly how are you supposed to solve this MCQ? Okay, they have given options, but how did we come to option C? All of this will be solved. What did we do? Did we, reject A and B, whether they are not at all correct? Then did we choose from C and D? Which one seems better option? What is the question? Depending on it. How are you supposed to navigate such questions? What should be your approach? What should be your mindset? Everything is discussed in those, I would say, bonus lectures. Then the practice questions are also done over there. So what are the practice questions? These are your practice questions. Okay. After every chapter, they will be present. So how are you supposed to move towards them? So what I would suggest is when you are watching the bonus lecture, okay, before you watch that, ensure that you have done the revision of the PPT. Okay, or you are at least clear with the concept. Then attempt it. Okay, you can either directly open the notes, okay, or what you can do, open the bonus lecture, pause whenever the question comes, try to solve it yourself, then continue with the lecture and you can understand, oh, this was the thinking while solving this question. This is how you are supposed to think. Okay. Everything will be done. Numericals are present, but they are very few in number. It is not a major part of your paper. It would come for, I would say, 5 marks or a maximum of 10 marks. So don't rely on it too much. Okay, some questions are based on numericals, like, a bit heavy on the, I would say, some equations that are present in those. But that is why the questions in the practice questions of that chapter have it. The other chapters would not have it. So do not expect too much from that, I would say. Then we also have our workshops. If you go with us, you would have free access to it. Now, I heard over here that a few of you guys are also graduates or looking for a job. So we can also help you with placement. You will be provided with reviews or interviews, and we would also prep you for it. Over here, we'll be combining your entire CB2 is theory, right? Theory is boring when you are studying. So I would try to make it as fun and enjoyable as possible. The live lectures would be all about communication about the two of us and full of practical knowledge. We would be going. I prefer a practical approach. I prefer going via graphs and examples rather than just by hearting the entire theory. Oh, the theorem says this, we have to do this. No, we would look at it graphically. Why is this correct? Okay. We will have tests, we will have mock tests, everything. Doubt solving will be present full time to you. I would reply back within the day or maximum one day next. That is the next day you would have it. You would have your answer back to you. You will be done with your portion by August, and if you stick to the schedule that is given to you over here, there won't be any problems if you do that. Okay, you should not have a backlog. Now, if due to some reason you do get a backlog, what are you supposed to do? You have to tell me that you have a backlog. Okay, not when we reach August or September. No, when it starts. Okay, 1 week you can take. I would say as soon as the backlog comes, just text me, ma'am, I have missed this chapter or something. Why? Because then we will have to navigate as to whether what you should do. Will you be able to understand what the next live lecture would be about or not? Okay, what should you study? What should be immediately done right? Then, if you have some other commitments, for example, you are starting college, so it's possible 1 2 weeks you will have examinations. It's possible you have a higher college requirement attendance. So, how are you supposed to study? Are you supposed to do it before or after? Then it is possible what is given on the group is the ideal. Okay, if you have some differences in your attempt, for example, you were sick for some days or you were not able to study for some reason, then you have to move away from the schedule. That is, you have to cover more. So what all needs to be done, you can contact me and we can do it. If you are doing two papers, it's possible one paper takes up a lot of your time, especially CS2. It's a heavy paper, right? So how are you supposed to balance the two? What time should you give to CB2? How much? And what is the important parts of it? Everything would be provided to you. We can curate your entire timetable for yourself. Okay. For example, after your results, you believe that you have failed the paper, your previous one, you want to give it again. So can you do the two of them together? Then what should you do? Because you will be revising the previous, I would say, paper, and this is a new one. So how are you supposed to balance the two together? Anytime you have any such doubts, we can get on a call, we can discuss it, but you have to reach out to me for that. I will try to connect with most of you at least once a month or something, but it is also your responsibility to give me such feedback if anything happens from your end. Then if I ask for I would say reports or progress on the group, okay, I would try to give you a personal call or something, but if I post it on the group, I would request you guys to reply to me. Either you can do it on the group or you can reply me privately for the same and just tell me what is the progress. If you're with class, I don't have to worry about you. But if you are not with the class, okay, if you are lagging behind, then I would suggest please do reach out and do not be in the, I would say, mentology that you can complete this entire thing in 1 month. You can do it after the results. No, that is not a good mindset. That is the worst mindset, I would say, because then you will be gambling with your attempt, with your money, and with your passing percentages. Okay. Let's not do that. Let's make this a surety rather than a gamble. Anytime you want to connect, you can connect with me or Sunny. Our numbers are over here on the screen. You can use it. Our numbers are already in the group. Also, don't worry about it. You are either in the open group already. Okay, so you would have our numbers present over there. Okay. Now, that is the most important part about CB2 that I would say. So, if you guys have any questions regarding what we have covered right now, you could just ask me right now. You could raise your hand and you can unmute after that. Okay, perfect. So now let's discuss the timing for our lectures. Considering CP2 is a paper that usually people do combine with other papers. You could do one paper, that's not an issue for CP2. But if you're combining, we cannot have the lecture at the same timings, correct? So is Saturday morning or afternoon okay with you guys?
No, ma'am. CS2 lectures are on Saturday afternoon.
Afternoon you have? Okay. What about Saturday night, like 5:30 evening, 5:30 onwards?
Sorry, ma'am. I meant from 5 to 7 or around that time. 4 to 7 or 5 to 7 in that range.
Okay, so you have CS2 then. Okay, and which timing can we take? See, that's okay. How many of you guys are doing CS2 or CM? Because okay, important note, CM2 is on the same date as CB2. So you cannot give the two papers together. It's on the same timing in September. It's on the same date, 23rd September. So CM2 and CS2, sorry, CB2 won't be happening together for you. That is something I believe or I've already cleared. But if someone is planning from their end, I would suggest please do check this again and prioritize whether you want to give CM2 or CB2 this attempt. So okay. Okay, from then Saturday morning, you guys have CM1. Which one is there? Let's discuss for that. Saturday